Hey guys, welcome to the video. We have a beautiful watch to review today, the Oris Diver 65 Chronograph. And this was sent in by Saltzmans Watches on loan to review. So thank you to Saltzmans Watches for supporting the channel. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And quick wrist check. Wearing my own Oris today, my Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot GMT. So yeah, let's take a look at this beautiful Oris chronograph. So as you can see, this has a very retro style in lieu of the name Oris 65. This is inspired by the dive watches by Oris back in 1965. Now, the first thing that jumped out to me when I took this out of the box, I had an idea what was coming, but I wasn't exactly sure. But a lot of things, typically when you take a watch out of the box, there's one or two things that you're going to like. But on this watch, there was multiple things that just jumped out at me. The first thing is the bezel, the bronze bezel. And typically, I'm not a big fan of bicolored watches, two-tone. Because typically I think that's overdone, i.e. look at the new Rolex Explorer, right? But this is a perfect accent. It's just the bezel, and it's a thin bezel at that. So like I said, it's just a perfect accent, not overdone with end links or a bronze crown or nothing like that. Just a nice accent to it. And the other thing is this beautiful dome sapphire crystal. I mean, this thing is just too cool, and these are the things I like on watches. It is sapphire, but has that great look from a vintage look that may have been a mineral crystal or something like that. And you can get the real great play on light distortions. Look at the indices, how because of the distortion of the crystal and the lighting. I just that stuff like that I really like. You can sit there and just get lost in this dial. So, and the other thing about that jumped out at me is just the dial itself. It's a beautiful, not an over gloss, but definitely a glossy black dial, and the indices have a rose gold tone to them, as well as the handset. So, right out of the box, I was really impressed with this watch. So let's go over the case dimensions. It is 43 millimeters across, and it's 16 millimeters thick. But remember, this is an automatic chronograph, so there's that. And plus, when you have a crystal like that, it's going to add, that's probably 1.5 millimeters right there. But because it is just the crystal, it's not like it's overweighted or top heavy, so you're not going to really notice that. I've worn this just a little bit around the house just to get a feel of it, and yeah, it just, for an automatic chronograph, it disappears on the wrist. It is, however, 50 millimeters lug to lug, but it still fits great, and 20 millimeter lug width. And like I said, for the type of watch it has a very slim profile, and the flank is highly polished, so there you go. So what do we have here? Of course, we have chronograph pushers and a screw down crown, signed screw down crown. There we go. And so yeah, further ado, let's get the chronograph going. As at the 12 o'clock position, we have Oris printed, and at the 6 o'clock, 100-meter water resistance. If you hadn't noticed yet, this does not have a date, which is another thing I love about this watch. I could really do without a date complication on a watch. For me, it's just another thing I have to set if I haven't been wearing the watch regularly. So, even though, watches have quick set date complications. I'm fine without a date, so that's just another thing I like about this watch. So the chronograph subdial layout on the at the 9 o'clock position. At the 9 o'clock position is just the running seconds, and at 3 o'clock position is the 30-minute chronograph. And if you watch the hand right there, the chronograph minute hand at the 3 o'clock position, it doesn't gradually move over as the chronograph second hand is ticking around. It'll do a full jump over to the next minute. So keep a lookout for that on the next minute that passes. This has a, as you saw in the intro, it has a nice coating of superluminova on both the markers and the hands. I'll keep it here so you can see the chronograph minute hand tick. Yeah, as you can see, there's just a lot of great light play with this dial and the domed crystal. So watch that second hand at the 3 o'clock, or the minute hand at the 3 o'clock. Tick, pretty cool. So, okay, let's talk about the bracelet. This is an interesting feature on Oris. So the lug-to-lug, or the lug width is 20 millimeters, but this has a huge dramatic taper down all the way. I measured the lowest point at just over 15 millimeters. So that's a huge taper down. Typically on a 20 millimeter lug width, it may taper down to 18 or 17, but this goes all the way down to 15. So it looks really cool. And on the wider links, you have like a riveted feature. And on the adjustable, the links for adjustment, push pin. Nice milled out clasp, signed Oris clasp, 4 micro adjusts, which is, that's a knock I have on my big crown, is the bracelet. No micro adjusts on this one. I would absolutely love to have this bracelet on my big crown. It's head and shoulders above the bracelet and the clasp on the big crown. So the movement is the Oris 771. It's based off a Salida 510, 27 joules, and a 48-hour power reserve. And not often, but not often you see an Oris with a solid case back. There we go, Oris. Yeah. Typically, we have the exhibition case back with the Oris red rotor visible, but on this particular model, it's a solid case back. So I'm really hoping the lighting is picking up, the colors on this watch. You have the highly polished flank on the side, and then the brushing, and then the sapphire crystal and the dial. It's just it's beautiful to look at. This is the kind of watch, if I'm sitting at my desk all day, I'm probably caught multiple times just staring at the dial and just checking it out. It's a beautiful watch. So let's reset the chrono, stop, and of course, snap back. So the things that I like, or I should say love about this watch, is really the, real quick, bezel. Nice bezel action. And this is a black aluminum insert on the bronze bezel. So yeah, the things I love about this watch, really overall, I love this watch, everything about this watch. This is a great offering by Oris, and if you have a chance to pick one of these up, do it. I don't think you would be disappointed. The domed crystal, absolutely love it. And again, like I said, the bronze accent of the bezel and no date. I had to think hard what I don't like about this watch, and if I want to throw a nitpick out there, it would be the solid case back. You know, I would prefer to have an exhibition just so I can see the chronograph movement and the artisan of a chronograph movement. So, but other than that, I mean, I have nothing negative to say about this watch. Like I said, it was loaned in by Saltzmans Watches. Here's the hang tag. Here's the reference number. I wasn't about to try to memorize Oris's reference numbers. They're just too long. But there's the information. I'll leave the link to this watch and just the general link to Saltzmans watches down in the description below. But yeah, that's the review. Just a beautiful automatic chronograph. Here, I'm gonna throw it on the wrist here. And for reference, I have about a 7.5-inch wrist. So as you can see, it just fits great. It's a great wear, and for being an automatic chronograph, there's just very little weight to it. And even though it's 50 lug to lug, it still sits on my wrist really nice. So yeah, that's the review. Thank you for tuning in, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.